strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bulldog, continuing on with our Beginner's Guide series. Today we are going to look at the card level system. It's something that's not quite as straightforward as a lot of people want to believe when they first get started, so there is a lot of confusion. A lot of people buying higher level cards and not understanding why they can't use them, things like that. So we're going to go over not only how to level up your cards, but when you can play your leveled up cards, and then if you even should level up your cards. So a lot of things to consider. But first, before I get into that, I want to mention one other thing I'm doing. I know some of you, most of you know that I'm going full time with this now, so I've been looking for some fun ways to kind of monetize the channel. From now on, for every video, the title screen will be available as a one-of-one NFT that's going to be auctioned off on Wax. The link for that is below. It starts very cheap, like 4 cents or something like that. So I don't expect it to necessarily be a huge thing, but just a fun way to get you guys involved, and you can support the channel and take home some memorabilia from my channel. So anyways, let's get back to the video here. We've got Beginner's Guide. How do you level up your cards? Let's start with that. How do you level them up? Let's go in here and look at actually leveling up a card. So to level up a card, you combine cards that are exactly the same. So here I have a bunch of different Magma Trolls. Let's get to the right screen. Magma Trolls here. And from cards from the same edition, the same foil. So you can't combine regular foil with gold foil, that type of thing. You can combine the same cards together. So you come over here, you click on the number of cards you want to put together, and you go up to this first option up at the top that says combine cards. That will combine them together to form a higher BCX card. BCX right here is base card experience. Each card you combine adds one more BCX. So if I combine those two, I'd have 4 BCX. If I then combined 3 more, I'd have 7 BCX. You don't have to combine just level 1s. If you combine a 7 BCX card with a 4 BCX card, you get an 11 BCX card. If you come over here to stats, you can see what BCX you need to reach each level, the extra stats you get for each level, and the extra abilities you get for each level. The amount of cards you need is different based on rarity. It's different based on edition. So there are a lot of different factors here, and what the exact number of cards that you need. But all you do, you go in, you combine them together, and then you'll have a higher level card. So one pro tip, let me go to a different card here and show you something. To show you a pro tip, it's a beginner's guide, but let's show you something that I bet a lot of veterans do not even know. Let's come to a card I've bought recently. Let's see, I bought a bunch of Robo Dragon Knights. If you watch my last investors video, you know I'm investing in these. Okay, you'll see some of these cards are on cooldown. You can actually combine, if I combined, so I need what, 3? Is it 3? Yep, 3 cards to get to level 2 Dragon Knight. If I combined these 3 cards right here, it would be on cooldown because the highest BCX card that I'm combining has a cooldown on it. But if I combine these 2 first to get a 2 BCX card and then combine the third one here, that would be a lower BCX card that's on cooldown. The highest BCX card would be 2. It would not be on cooldown, so my final card would not be on cooldown. So you can manipulate how you combine those cards in order to hopefully get one that is not on cooldown that you can use right away. So there's a pro tip for you. So that's how you combine cards, but there are other factors to consider. It's not as simple as just combine all the cards you want and go play a higher level card, or go buy a higher level card and play it. There are other factors. First factor, summoner level. You can only play monsters up to a certain level based on your summoner level. The summoners are leveled up the same way that monsters are, but the benefits are the cards you can play underneath them. So let's go back into our game here, and we're gonna go to summoners, and it doesn't matter. We'll find any of them. We can use Vera here. If we look at stats, they're combined the same way. If I go to cards here, I can combine those two the same way. If we look at stats, summoners don't give any extra stats. They don't get any better abilities or anything like that as you level them up. The advantage of leveling summoners up is then you can play higher level cards underneath them. So if you have a level 1 Vera, all you can play are level 1 cards. Now, you can play higher level cards, but their abilities and stats get scaled down to level 1. So there's never a disadvantage to having a higher level card, but you just don't get those advantages if you don't have the summoner to match. And as we go from left to right here, these are the level of common monster, level of rare, level epic, level of legendary. So as we go to level 3 here, if we have a level 3 Vera, you can play a level 4 common card, a level 3 rare card, a level 2 epic card, and a level 2 legendary. And these levels, the amount of cards you need and the levels are all based on rarity. The amount of cards can actually be based on addition as well. But if we go to, so that's a rare. If we come to, let's come to a legendary. Let's find some of our favorite legendary summers. Byzantine Kitty. I don't have a max Kitty yet. Sorry, Kitty. We've got, if we go up to, so level 1 at base level, you can play a little higher cards than just your rare, and they escalate quicker because you can only go to level 4 on the legendaries. So again, it's based on the rarity and the level of the summoner that determines what level monsters you can play. But that's not all. That's not all, unfortunately. There is a league level cap as well that determines the level of your summoner. So the level of your summoner determines the level of your monsters, and then your league determines your level of your summoner. So, and therefore caps all of your cards across the board. So let's go into a different screen here. Let's get back into the game, and we're going to go into leagues right up here. This is on the main screen, leagues. If we click on bronze, you'll see the summoner level limits at the bottom. 3, 2, 2, 1. Those are the highest level summoners you can play in bronze. As we go up the board here, if we go into silver, you'll see that it increases. You can play higher level summoners once you get into silver. That's why silver is harder than bronze, gold is harder than silver, etc. And it applies to tournaments too. And this is something else that's a little misleading to new players when they're joining tournaments. A lot of people think if they're joining a bronze tournament, that means it's specifically for bronze league players. And while that can be the case, you can the creator can adjust the price to so that it's non-advantageous to join if you're at a higher league. They can charge higher league players more, but that's not necessarily the case. So I've got our big tournament coming up in a few hours. The first qualifier is in a few hours. If you're missing that, next Sunday we've got the second qualifier. We've got $1,500 worth of prizes. It is a silver level tournament, but anybody can enter at the same price. It is not intended for silver league players. It just has silver level summoner caps. So it's designed to be played at those levels, but anybody can play it. So I know people get mad when they join a bronze or a silver tournament and they see champion players in there. And the champion players just can't use their higher level cards, but it's not exclusive to silver or bronze or whatever the league is. It's not exclusive, or not always exclusive to those players. So I know I kind of said that in a weird way, but hopefully that makes sense. When we talk about bronze, silver, gold, summoner limits, level limits, we're not talking about the players in those leagues necessarily, but the level limits that apply to them. So to kind of go back through this, your level of card that you can use is determined by your summoner. The level summoner you can use is determined by your league. But just because we can use a card doesn't always mean we should. There's one other thing that we need to talk about, and that is the value of the card. Because a lot of people don't understand when they first start that leveling up a card actually decreases its value. If you have a level 2 5 BCX card, it is most likely going to be worth less than 5 level 1 cards. And let's actually go in. We'll find an example here. Let's go in and find an example. Let's choose some of the legendary cards that everybody knows. Let's go to the legendary summoners. Let's choose. I'm not looking at this beforehand, so hopefully I choose a good example. Here we go. Mimosa. This will work. Mimosa. You can see the cheapest level 1 card. So the cheapest overall card is $240. But if you get a max, if you go with a level 4, it's $185 per card per BCX. So overall, it's a lot more expensive, but per card, it's actually worth a lot less. If you were just trying to keep cards for value purposes, you'd be much better off with 11 level 1s than you would one maxed Mimosa. And there are a couple reasons for that. First off, especially with so many new players coming in the game right now, there are a lot more people that can use a level 1 Mimosa than a level 4. We know that, I mean, we talked about your level limits. All these people in bronze, silver, whatever, they can't use a level 4. So there's just less demand to go after a maxed card. The other reason, maybe even a bigger reason, is flexibility. So if you already have a mimosa and you are looking, let's say you're looking to go, you've already got one and you're looking to go to a level 2, that level 4 does you no good. A lot of people don't want to buy the level 4 because they've already got a few cards that they're wanting to combine. They need 3 BCX, they need 5 BCX to get to whatever level they want. So level 1s also always have ultimate flexibility. You can always combine a level 1. The level 4, the level 3, whatever it is, might not be the right number that you're looking for. So it's more difficult for people to combine those together. So one thing to consider whenever you're leveling up cards is, okay, let's say, again, if you wanted a max mimosa and you had saved up 11 of them, don't combine your 11 level 1 cards. Go buy a max one, as long as there's one on the market. I mean, maybe there's not the one that you need, but at least go check to see if there is. Go buy a max one and then sell your level 1s instead. Or maybe if you have to for fun, sell your level 1s instead and then go buy a max one. Or buy a level 2 or a level 3 and then combine them together that way. And you can oftentimes save money doing that. So just something to consider when you are combining cards, because there's sometimes some more efficient ways to do it. And when we're looking at our cards themselves, let's go to a card instead of a summoner. Like let's look at Serpentine Spy. Again, kind of choosing one randomly, but we can kind of to make it work. When I'm combining up my cards and leveling up my cards, I'm also considering, because again, you're losing value as you combine them. Is it worth going to that extra level? Some levels bring large benefits while others do not. So, for example, Serpentine Spy gets an extra attack at level 5. So level 5 is something that I want to target. Like if I'm at level 4, going to level 5 is an ideal thing. I want to get there. But then after level 5, okay, is it worth going from, okay, so if we go from level 5 to level 7, that's almost 3 times as much. It takes 90, okay, it's 150% more. You go from 60 cards to 150 cards, but all you gain is 1 speed and 1 health. Now that's certainly good, but I would say the jump from level 4 to level 5 is so much bigger. Getting that extra attack for only 30 more cards is so much bigger than getting an extra speed and health for adding 90 cards. So different levels will you gain more important stats, or you'll gain an extra ability. So okay, going from level 9 to level 10, even though it's 100 cards, when you get that poison, that can be a big deal. Gaining poison, at least in my mind, is so much bigger than just gaining 1 health or just gaining 1 speed. Now, it doesn't mean that 1 speed or 1 health can't make a big difference in battle. It's absolutely good to have those, but certain levels are bigger than others. So sometimes I'll kind of try to jump to certain levels. Like I'll target level 5, and then whenever I won't level it up for a while until I get to the range where I want to get to level 8, because again, that's another attack. So I'll target level 8 and I'll kind of jump there all at once. So it just depends. It's different for every card. There are a bunch of different factors to consider. Is all I'm trying to point out. It's not as simple as, okay, I got an extra card, I'm just going to combine them, and I'm just going to combine all my cards as I get them. I would say that is a major mistake to just blindly combine all of your cards as you get them, because it's not always worth it, because you're decreasing value. You might not even be able to use them. I definitely wouldn't sit in between levels also. So you don't want to. Okay, let's go back real quick. So we've got at level 2, you need 5 BCX. At level 3, you need 14 BCX. I certainly wouldn't combine 2 level 2s to get another level 2 at 10 BCX. You're combining cards there that you don't necessarily need to, even though they are 2 level 2s, but whenever you're searching out to buy it, a lot of people aren't going to buy a level 2 10 BCX unless they're just looking for 10 BCX. But if they're looking for a level 2 card, why would they pay twice as much to get the same stat? So it becomes harder when you decide to resell it, or if you decide to resell it. And you should never think, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to resell the card, remember I mentioned before, sometimes it's better to resell your current cards and buy a higher one. So even if you are planning on playing the game and planning on leveling up this card, you're not necessarily wanting to get rid of the card, you still might sell it just to buy back a higher level one at a cheaper price per BCX. So never think that you're not going to sell your card and you don't need to worry about the overall value or anything like that, because it can be important. So I know we covered a lot there, but hopefully that makes sense, and you guys can understand not only how you level up your cards, but when you can play those higher level cards, how you need to get high level summoners to match your higher level monsters. And again, it kind of sounds all complicated at first, but it's something that veteran players just take for granted. We understand the system. It's not something that takes that long to grasp, and it's not really that difficult. It's just confusing to players who don't know to look for this type of thing. You think you should just be able to go in and buy whatever level card you want and immediately play that, and then people get disappointed when it doesn't work out that way, and they spent so much more money on a card that's not even usable for them. So hopefully this prevents that, and you guys can understand the game a little bit better. So if you have any questions, as always, let me know in the comments. If you've got other videos that you want me to work on, let me know in the comments as well. I've got a long list, but I'm adjusting that based on the request. If we get a bunch of people requesting for certain videos, that tells me there's a demand for it. It's a common question. I'll go out and try to do a video. Come to my Discord if you have questions. That's probably the biggest thing I base these kind of beginner guides and FAQ style videos. One of the biggest things I base my decisions off of is the questions that I'm seeing in my Discord. So come to my Discord, ask questions. There's a lot of people willing to help. It's a pretty friendly environment right now. So it's a great place to be to come learn to play the game. So I hope to see you guys there. I will see you again. If you're watching this video right away, in a couple hours, what are we? We're 4.5 hours away from my huge sponsor tournament with $1,500 in prizes. There's a qualifier today, there's a qualifier next Sunday, and the finals are after that. So be sure to go get involved in that. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be streamed right here on this YouTube channel, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have some giveaways on the stream as well. So even if you're not playing, come watch, come see some of the best players in the game, and have some fun and win some prizes. So I'll see you guys there.